welcome back to my online music theory course. Today we're starting chapter 2 in our book, and it's located on page 12. And we're going to be talking about semitones, tones, and accidentals. Before we talk about the semitones and tones, we first have to understand what is an accidental. Well, when you're playing music, and accidentals are your sharps or your flats that you see in the middle of your music. It's not going to be the key signature. It's going to be the other sharps and flats located in your piece. If you play a musical instrument, you'll know that that's called a sharp. And you'll also already know that that is called a flat. So I'm just going to reference our music staff, and I'll put our treble clef in. And if I was to have, let's say, a note on F, our first space, and I wrote a sharp in front of it, sharps kind of look like tic-tac-toe signs, and that center part of the sharp is going to be centered with the note that it's raising. And yes, sharps raise a note or go to the right if you're a pianist. So hopefully you can see my chart on the camera, but if I have an F here, if I raised it, it would go to the black note above. So I would actually play the black note, an F sharp there. If I had a C, F, A, C, and I wrote a sharp beside it, I would find C on my keyboard, and I'd raise it. I would actually play the sharp. I'm going to the right to raise a note. But flats are opposite. They're going to go down, or they lower a note. So let's pick another note on my staff. Every good boy, that's a B. And if I was to draw the flat sign in front of it, I would lower the B. So here's B on the keyboard, and I'm going to the left to lower it. So that black note in the group of 3 black notes is the B flat. So if I'm playing the song on the keyboard, I would play that instead of the B. So the flat lowers a note and the sharp raises a note. Now, not every note on the piano has a black note. There's 2 spots between the B and the C and between the E and the F that don't have a black note along the crack. So if I was to raise the B, if I was to, let's just erase the flat here, and we're going to change that to a sharp. If I was to raise the B, I have to go up, and that ends up being a C. So if you're playing a song that requires a B sharp, you're actually going to play, just put in brackets here, you'll play the note C. Now if I had a C, I'm just going to draw another 5 lines here, treble clef. If I had a C and I wanted to lower it with a flat, again, there is no black note there. So to lower a C, you're actually going to be playing the note B. So sometimes when you see a sharp and a flat, you will not end up on one of the black keys. You'll end up on the next nearest white key. Now that brings us to our tones and our semitones. So let's have a look at that. First of all, we're going to talk about what is a semitone. A semitone is a movement from one note to the next that goes to the very next tone, or very next note. So I'm going to draw a fresh staff, treble clef. So if I have an F and I want to move up a semitone, I would simply add an accidental of a sharp, and now I have, let's turn the piano on, now I have a semitone between F to F sharp. I can do the same thing by adding a flat. Let's say I have a D, and I put a flat there, so I'm on D, and I lower one semitone or to the very next note. And sometimes when you have the white notes, if you want to lower a semitone from C, you can write C, and then you can write That's the movement of a semitone. F lowers a semitone to an E. And A raises a semitone to an A sharp. Sometimes in theory, you'll be asked to write a semitone above a given note, but use a different note name. So instead of C going to C sharp, we have to use another note name. So here's our staff. So let's say I have G, and they want me to go up a semitone, but I have to use a new note name. So we know that after G, going up or ascending, comes A. So if we have an A there, but we want it to be a semitone, I would need to be able to change that A to the very next black note. But I can't call it G sharp. So I'm going to call it A flat. That black note has two names. It can be a G sharp or it can be an A flat. So here's a sample of a semitone. And in music we show the semitone by doing that, a smile, a little slur mark. So that shows a semitone. Now what about a tone? So let's do the G again. And if they ask me to find a tone above G, I know the next note up is an A, but a tone consists of two semitones. So I would have G, I'd skip the first semitone to the G sharp, and I'd have an A, G to A, G to A. There's two semitones there, G to G sharp to A. What if I was asked to find a semitone below a given note? So let's give ourselves an E, F-A-C-E, and I want to find a semitone below with a new note name. So the note below E is a D, but we need it to be a semitone. So somehow I need to get to that black note, from E to that black note. So we will raise the D and have a D sharp. So E to D sharp is a semitone below. If I wanted a semitone below, but I need to use the same note name, I would repeat my same note, and because I need it below, I would flat my second note, E to E flat. It ends up being the same sound because I'm still playing that same black note, but that black note had two different names. He can be called a D sharp, and he can be called an E flat, and it's the same black note. So a semitone is from one note to the very next note above or below a note, and a tone is from one note to the note above or below that moves two semitones. It has two semitones in it. Again, if you have any questions about this lesson, the difference between semitones and tones and your accidentals, please feel free to message me and I'd be delighted to help you out. Thanks very much.